Hey guys, and how's it going? Put a post up on Facebook here lately, and it was in a John Deere group. I was asking about whether I should put a Kohler in this or an Onan, because for those who don't remember, this motor and I have had some pretty good arguments. As you can see, it's got oil underneath of it. It's got a seal that's out. I had the valve cover off of it. I had the other stuff off of it too. I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. Here to find out, it's leaking from the main seal, and apparently the crank is bent, so I'm not quite sure how that happened. I think it was from when I tried pulling that pulley off of there last time, and it bent it. So I guess what we got to do is either we're gonna have to find another crank for it or just put another motor. And I was digging around through the hoard, and upstairs I found a Kohler. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've got the doors open today because it's kind of nice outside. It's I think it's 60 degrees, although the only issue with it is it's raining, so can't really do much outside. Here's that motor I was talking about. This is the Kohler. I had that, if you guys don't remember, that 72 I sold. This motor, it was this motor and another motor came with it. This is a Kohler. I was told it's a K301, but I think it might be a K241. I have the shroud that came with it. Although, for those who don't know, the story behind this tractor is it came on actually, if you don't remember the 71 that I have downstairs, the parts donor, this motor came off that well, it didn't come off that 71. It was a extra motor that had come with that 71. And it was, I think the reason that they had sent it with it was because that other motor on the tractor was no good, or there was something wrong with it. And so they sent this extra motor, which is supposedly good. I haven't tested it yet, but something was wrong with that motor, so they threw this motor in with it to have an extra motor if you ended up needing it. The only reason I didn't use this motor on the 72, correction, if I'd used this motor on the 72, I would still have it here today. But the reason I don't have it anymore, and the reason I sold that motor off, was number one, right there, that muffler. I almost put this motor on there because it had a muffler piece. The other one was busted off, so you couldn't have a muffler on it, which really sucked. And number two, right down here, I don't know if you guys can see it well, but the oil dipstick tube is busted off, so I gotta get that off there and I gotta fix it. I also have this one up here, but this motor's pulled apart and all. It would really just need a piston rod and a piston. I have those actually for it. Put the piston and the piston rod back in it and then get a new head gasket for it. Other than that, everything's still there, but is it really worth messing with? So this is what we're going to do right here. We're going to try to get this motor into the 68. Let me run downstairs real quick. For those who don't remember, this is my 1971 112. This is the one that was parted, and I had the motor pulled off of it. This is the motor I put on the 72, and I got it running. This is the parts donor for the 68. This is basically the same thing that I'd have to do in order to get that motor to fit in there. Is I'd have to cut a slot out of the frame like what you see here, because this that motor has a thing on bottom of it. It sticks down. It goes down to, I would say, right about Actually, that goes down as far as it does. And the way that it is on the 68, this is flat. There's no hole there or anything because it was designed for a tecumseh. I can show you that on the patio. Another thing that we could do, and I think I do have a head gasket upstairs, is we could take this tecumseh and put it in there. Whether it runs or not, I'm not 100% sure. It's got a stator on it. We could use, but I'd like to try and get this tractor going, so we'll hold off on that for right now. Let's see if we can get the old 68 to start up before its last time being started. It goes up in the horde. You guys ready? What do you think? Will she start? I say no. Let's try it. We got a full spare key. There we go. All right, ready? Like I said before, that's basically what we're getting. It just will not start. As much as I want to fix it, I don't really think I can. We'll push it. Get it away from it. Okay, so we got a flywheel put on the little motor and we got a starter put on the little motor. I brought it down. We got her all hooked up. I threw a carburetor on it just for shits and giggles. Let's, what we're gonna do is I've got it hooked up to my, my battery charger. We're gonna plug this into the wall and we're gonna see if that little motor's got enough power to, or if it's got enough balls to crank that motor. Let's go on ahead and try it. There we go. Ready? I would say it does. What do you guys think? Should we go on ahead? Well, we got to put power to the thing first. What do you guys think? Should we put? Actually, we can't really do much with it right now because it doesn't have the oil dipstick tube is busted, and I don't want it throwing oil everywhere. So I think there's a way to combat that, but we know it'll turn over the motor, so that's good. It goes a little bit slow, but you got to remember, it's, I'm not sure what that's putting through, but I don't think it's putting through 12 volts. Once we get we'll hook a battery up to it here soon. We'll put a gas tank up here and run some gas down to it. We'll try and see if we can get it to go. We'll hook it up. We got to test out the fuel pump, make sure the fuel pump works. That's another thing we got to do. So let's go on ahead and where do I want to go from here? I guess let's see if we can get it to. We'll throw we got to put points on it. We'll throw a set of points on it, a condenser and coil, and we'll see if we can get it to fire up. Okay, you guys, we got the engine all wired up. As you can see, we've got coil, points, condenser. There's actually another condenser down here, but I don't know if that one works or not. We will test it later. And then we've got the stuff over here. So what we're going to try and do first is we're going to hook this wire up to the positive. The way that works, you can have the motor run while it's out of the tractor. You just got to have power going to the coil, and you got to have a way to kill it if it goes out of control and you can't shut it off. But in my case, we can't start this motor up because it's missing the oil plug over there, like I had said, and I think it's got an oil leak over here somewhere. So we're gonna go on ahead and we're gonna see if we can get it. I do kind of want to try and see if we can get it to fire over. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go grab a muffler, stick it on there just in case if we end up deciding to try to start it up today. But what do I want to do now? Let's go on ahead and we'll run a wire over and we'll see if we get spark or not. The way to test for spark is you watch the points as they touch each other. When they touch each other, they'll spark. That's how you know that your points are done correctly and you've got spark. Now, if your coil's bad, it won't do anything. If you got a bad condenser, it'll still work, but it won't run as good. So that's a couple ways for you guys to be able to tell what the deal is with your tractors. I figured I'd give those two tips off. So let's go on ahead. We'll dribble some fuel. No, we're not going to do any fuel. We're on a wire from here to there. We'll see if it gets spark or not. And if it gets spark, well then, I think our next step is we'll have to get an oil. We'll have to cover that oil drain up with something, and then we'll try and start it up. So let me run a wire real quick. Okay, so we tested it. For whatever reason, the camera wasn't recording. It had spark, and I was asking, what do you guys think? Should we go on ahead and try to see if it'll run, or let me do something real quick about, well, oh hell. Let's see if it'll start. It won't run very long. Ready? Let me dribble some fuel into it. Let me see if I have some fuel actually. We'll dribble some into it and then we'll try and get it to start. Okay, so I got her all hooked up and I figured out my system. Here's how we're going to do it. This right here is a 12 volt battery. Okay, the battery goes from here to the coil. This is the coil wire right here. It goes to this thing on the battery and then it grounds to the block, of course. This right here is the connection I need to put on there. Once I stick this on there and I crank this over, it's gonna wanna go. And then I have the battery charger hooked up to the starter. Again, I need to try to find a way to kill it. I could pull this wire off somehow if it ends up going out of control while I'm over there instead of having to come over here and rip it off there. So I'm trying to think of some sort of system I can do to be able to rip it off, but I don't think it's going to go too far out of control. Like, we're not putting too much gas in it. It's just going to be enough probably for it to run about 5 seconds and it'll kill itself. Open the choke. This is scary. Let's go on ahead. We'll put the wire on here and we will put some fuel. This is my gas right here. I should put some 2-stroke fuel in it because it's been setting. I don't know how long it's been setting. I want to guess maybe 10 or 20 years, I would say. It's going to need a bath, obviously, here soon. So let's go on ahead. The carburetor is closed all the way. We better put a spring on there or something to keep that shut. Let me grab a, let me see if I have a spring in here. Ran upstairs and grabbed the muffler. Let's go ahead and put this muffler on it. I would have started it without it, but I don't want it shooting flames at everything, or I just don't want it to be very loud. I can't handle loud noises. That's not on there very good, but it'll dampen it as it can. All right, ready? I say all right too much. Okay, you guys ready? 3, 2. Oh, we still need to hook the coil up. Let's hook the coil up. And then, once that is hooked up, again, there we go. She's hooked. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We'll give it a break here for a second. That might have, that fuel might have evaporated. Is everything hooked up on it? Coil's hooked up. Yeah, everything's hooked up. We'll let that starter a break and then let's try it again. Ready? You guys probably want to see the exhaust, don't you? Let me move you guys to the other side. I'll put more gas in it. See if it'll go. Yeah. They're at 20. So they should be all right. Not much to see now over there. The muffler's on this side. We know the motor runs, so that's good. We don't know. Well, let's try it in the end. Ready? It started cranking a lot more. That was really weird. Wonder why it started cranking so fast. Well, let me open that. Yeah. There we go. Started cranking fast. Trying to think if I have anything else around here that's flammable. I don't know if. Well. Let me look around real quick and see if I got something else we could dump in there because we're out of gas. Okay, let's go on ahead and do this. Let me put this on here and make sure that it is open. Yep. Ready? Yeah, but this motor seems like it moved back. Not 100% sure why the RPMs on it kicked up so high, but again, it went in my favor, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and try this. Okay, battery is hooked. We may need to clean up those terminals. Let's go ahead and try it again. Ready? You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put the boot on. Oops, my bad. We may have to put more gas in it now. Oops. All right, let's try this again. Ready? Okay, we need something up front. I need to find something to hold it down because as you guys saw, it kicked. And when it kicks, oh boy, it goes. So let me find something to try and hold it down a little bit better. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the thing hooked up. This is on. This needs to be hooked back up. As you guys saw last time we tried it, it flew like I said it would. So we're going to try to avoid flying this time. I strapped down the motor just a little bit. Nothing too eccentric, you know, but I mean, It's kind of floppy, so it can bounce. Because a little bit of bouncing isn't bad. So, not quite sure how much fuel's in it, but we're going to try it off what's still in it and see if it wants to cooperate and go. If it doesn't want to, well then we're going to make it. Okay, ready? Let's kick this thing in high gear, see if we can get it to go. Ready? Oh, damn it. Look at that. It ran. Damn it. Oh. That's still on. There we go. Damn it. We almost had it. Let's try pulling her over again. I'll try to run over as quick as I can to catch it. What it came out this time. Oh, look at that. It stayed hooked up. I think it just ran out of gas. Let's try it again and see. Well, it idles pretty low. Ready? It ain't got no fuel in it no more. Okay, she's out of fuel. Let's go on ahead. Pull this. Nope, they're open. Okay. We'll dribble some more fuel into it. It held it down a lot better than it was before, which is good. So, nice to know that it's actually holding itself down instead of jumping and bouncing and going and pulling. It's instead of jumping and bouncing and it blowing up off the table, which would really suck. Although before it hit the floor, it would be pulled from the thing. As we did see, it does run, so that is good. We got a running motor, but if we hook up a tank to it, which we're gonna have to do to test that carburetor. Let me grab the thing. We're gonna have to hook a tank up to it to test that carburetor. Let's see. Overfill it. I don't want it to run too long. It's not blowing any oil out, which really surprises me. So I don't think it's got blow by, so that's good. Let's go on ahead and we'll put this back in. It does have oil in it. I tipped it over a little bit and I checked. It does have oil in it, so it is good on oil. We're not going to run it too long up until we get that thing fixed. Once we get it fixed, I'll put it to the test and we'll blow it up. Not blow it up, but we'll put it in the tractor once we get her. Once we know she'll go, and we'll see how she does. You guys ready? Let's go on ahead. Pull it over. I'm tempted to put a pull string on it instead. Ready? Damn it, I didn't hook the thing back up. You guys got to remind me to hook this back up, because I forget, as you can tell. Ready? Okay, it's running like it's choked, which, yes it is. There we go, we'll unchoke it, we'll try her again. Ready? Runs real good. I I don't know if you guys noticed it, but that choke fell back down as soon as I went to crank it, so we're gonna have to do something different with this choke. We're gonna have to hold it up somewhere. So let me grab a thing. It's nice that it chokes it out, but I really like to hear this motor run. So let's, okay, actually, you know what? Let's run a wire or something that'll hold it shut. Let's see if it'll. Trying to find something I can throw on there to make it hold. Which, there we go. This spring might help it. So we choke. I don't want to hook it up to that. I wonder if there's a way to hold it right there so it doesn't go down when we crank the motor. Because I know what's going to happen. As soon as I start cranking it, it's going to fall. And there we go, the motor's choked. I could put something in there. I want to put something in here bad. I want to put something in here like that, but I don't because I don't want it being sucked in. Well, the choke plate is shut, or the throttle plate is shut, so I guess we might be okay. Let's go on ahead and try it. Ready? They're being held by that. Might need more go-go juice. Or did we even? No, we didn't. We gotta hook this back up. Ready? We'll get that hooked up. But hey, we know it's prime. So let's go on ahead. Ready? Okay. No. And that is touching, so I do not like that. Let's bring this over here. Pick this. This is one. That's not good. Pick this up and around. That ain't good. That's warm. Although it is putting a lot of energy through it to turn that over, so that might be what it is. Let's run this up and around. Right there. There we go. That's better because now it's not getting caught in the flywheel. It still sparks. That's good. Pull that off and then we'll take the plug out again. We'll put more fuel in it. It's not, it gets up and goes as you saw, but it kept on being choked out. So I'm thinking now that we have the choke bypassed in quotations, we should be able to get this thing to go. If we had this in the center of the table, it'd hold it down a little bit better because right now it's kind of pushing it down, but it's keeping it from flying, which is good. Where's the, oh, here it is. We got to put a stator on it next. That's next on the list. We got no stator on it. We do have a carburetor on it though, which is good, so that part's fine. We don't want to flood it. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to put too much in there and end up flooding it out. I'm just going to tighten this by finger. I know how tight it should be. It's right about there. Okay. Now we put that boot back on. Let's hook this up. Hopefully this time we should get her to go. Who's ready? Okay, ready? Let's go. That thing sounds good. Okay, so she sounds actually really good. So we know the motor runs. What the hell? Where's all the oil from? Oh boy. I think that oil may have came out when I tipped it back earlier to try and get it to go. Okay, let's see. Let me go on ahead. Let me get this thing set up and ready. We'll pull the motor out of the 68 and we'll get this in it. Tell you what, if you thought your motor leaked bad, take a look at that. So I'm looking at it right now. It seems we're gonna have to do some cutting away on this, just up here in the front. I think once we cut that front section out, we should be okay. I really don't want to do any cutting on it, but unfortunately, to fit that Kohler in here, we're gonna have to, so. What do you think? Should we set our prize in there? Let's take it, you know what? Let me take it outside. I'll clean it up real good, then we'll bring it back in, and we will get to it. So for those of you who are wondering what I'm going to be using to get all the oil out of here, I am going to be using WD-40. This is old WD-40 that I have soap and stuff in, and it's got clumps of stuff in it. It's dirty. Couldn't use it on anything else, so this is really all it's good for is a degreaser. It actually does degrease, so this is how I clean my motors and everything that needs this thing. Just grab an old paintbrush that's hardened up over the years and start painting. Paint it with oil. Then once you're done painting it with oil, you take it and you spray it down with the garden hose and it will go away. Try not to get any water in your WD-40 though. As you can see, I would say that actually cleaned pretty good. Get it a little bit more. Just a little ways over here because this still has a little bit in it over here. The belt's got some oil on it too. We're gonna have to try to get that off somehow, which explains why it was slipping so bad before. Let me get this back inside. It's starting to rain. Not rain, but it's starting to shower. Okay, let's go on ahead and we'll wash this out with the hose. I let it soak for a little while. Ready? You may end up having to soak it a few more times in the WD-40 mix, but I think I've pretty much got all of it out of there. Another good thing is I got paint underneath my hood. So having clean paint will help. I went in and grabbed a little wire wheel or a wire brush. I'm just gonna brush this a little, try to get whatever I may have missed out of here. I didn't really miss too much, but I just want to make sure that I get it all cleaned up and everything out. Well, I would say I've got it well clean. Ready? Okay. I think what I might do is I'm going to let it sit out here and drain for a little while. Then after it's done draining, we'll take it in. Okay, you guys, I got something in the mail today and I'm pretty happy. Finally got here. You guys ready to see it? I got my dipstick tube for this motor. So we're going to put the dipstick on. Before we try to get that off, we're just going to go on ahead and pull this oil fill assembly off. So let me grab my Allen wrenches because that's what it seems to take. And it looks like it takes a smaller one. Do I dare? Cool. We'll get this off here. Need a chisel. Not a chisel, but a there we go. That's clean. Let's go ahead and take a look at our new dipstick. Let me pull the dipstick out of the tube. Looks like someone messed with that before. Here's our new dipstick. Yeah, it's gonna need to be cleaned up. Let me take it up front. I got a better wire wheel up front I can clean it up with, and we'll be right back. Took that piece up front and I started working on it. We may not be able to save it, and I'll show you why. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got pitting right there from rust, so I don't think the gasket will be able to go on there, and if it does, it's going to leak around where that pitting is, because the gasket, I think, goes right on top of that. So, great. Let me grab the gasket, actually. I will look and see. Let's see how much of it is covered. Putting it on there to figure it out. Oh, hell, look at that. I guess we'll be alright. The pitting's all the way up there, and this is down here. Cool. Let's get this put on. I did go over this with some cleaner and clean it. This too. Just to... Those are all in there tight. So now, it should not leak oil. So cool. Okay, you guys, we got the flywheel bolted on there. We got the stator put on. A little bit of a recap on everything that we've done with this motor. We pulled it out from upstairs. We put a coil on it. We put points on it. We put points coil condenser on it. We put a starter on it. We had to replace the oil. We had to put a flywheel on it. We put a flywheel nut on it. We put stator on it. I think that's pretty much everything that we have done to it so far. We tested it. We put a spark plug on it. Had spark and it started up and it ran pretty good. So now what we need to do is we need to go on ahead and put it inside of a tractor or something that we can bolt it down to and try it out and see how it runs so it's not bouncing around on the bench. And I think I've found the perfect thing to put it inside of. That is a 1971 112 junk, obviously. Doesn't run. So we're going to go on ahead, bring it over, we're going to put the motor in it, see how it runs. For those who are wondering what I'm going to be doing with the motor that came from the 68, I am actually parting it right now. The same guy who bored the motor on the patio reached out to me and asked me, because he saw that I'm getting rid of this motor. Well, I put it on Facebook and he said something to me. He goes, "Hey, would you be interested in trading that motor for something?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll trade something for it." Not quite sure what he wants to trade yet, but we're gonna find out. He said he's only after the internals. I can take off anything that I need on it. So I pulled the starter off, I pulled the stator, I'm keeping the clutch pulley, and I pulled the carburetor. I had to pull the magneto off in order to get underneath the flywheel, which no problem with that. But everything, he said, anything that I put on here, I can take off. So I'm keeping the front shroud too and a few other things. So that works, I guess. It's out of my hair. You know, I was sitting here thinking about it. We do have the Bobcat. Although I don't know, I know the tow motor will fit through this little gap, but I don't know if the Bobcat will be able to fit through right here. You guys want to test it? Let me go get the Bobcat here quick. In order to do my little scheme, we're going to have to move the table saw so that when we get it in here, we can back it, swivel it, back in right here, go straight forward, get the motor. We're going to have to move the frame too. Get the motor, put it in there. I'll move you this crap out of the way. park it there because when the wind blows, when the wind starts blowing, that'll open and air comes in and it's cold. Why won't it steer? Get that over here. That should be okay. What do you guys think? Start placing your bets. Do you think it's going to fit, or do you think we're going to have more problems than it's worth? Well, hopefully it will. Let's go grab the Bobcat, or as Weston Chaplin calls it, the 95 horsepower jack. I think mine might be a little bit bigger than his. I know mine's older. Not sure. Let's find out. Ready? I actually am starting to think, in order to get this out of here, we're going to have to take the front door off the Bobcat, because if we put the forks up, we won't be able to get out of it because the door is going to be in the way. So, let's get the door off of it. How hard could that be? Let the glow plugs go. Ready? That was surprisingly easy. We're gonna have to move that generator though in order to get the Bobcat in here all the way. We'll get that out of the way here quick. just hook up to this right here is because I want to have it hooked up to the sturdier part of the fork, just in case if this all the way out here decides it wants to break for God knows what reason. So we're going to grab an engine hoist. We're going to put it on this and this all thread. Maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll put it on both those all threads. Well, actually, we'll see. Let me grab one of those engine hoists, unless I have one here in my cabinet. Tell you what, that was just way too easy to get this thing in here. I thought I'd have to expand the door just a hair to get it in, but it worked. So let's go on ahead. Let me go grab my engine hoists. Noticed I didn't have the full thing in the shot, so went upstairs and I grabbed my engine hoist mount. I'm going to put it on there. We're going to bolt it down to this existing pole. It's going to go on this fork right here. We probably better move, actually, well, we could always move this one out of the way. I think it should be okay though, so let me get my little engine hoist on here. What side, actually, I'm not 100% sure which side's heavier. I want to put it on the heaviest side. I wish I had something I could run in between here. Pick it up, actually. I think I do. No, I don't. Never mind. So, we'll run this from this up behind. See, now the nice thing about our extra frame is it doesn't have the hood supports in the way, so I can just drop the motor right on it. And I won't have a problem with hitting the hood supports. Well, didn't seem to want to hook onto this. Was it going on any of these, or these might need to be cleaned up just a shade. See if they'll go. Well, this one seems to be the only one it wants to go on, so I guess we'll just go on this one. I could clean that one up or that one, but nah, what's the point? We got 3 of them on here, we'll just use one that works. We're not going to tighten it all the way down to tightness, because it'll hold itself just fine with it like this. Just put it on their finger tight, it'll be okay. It will be okay like that. So let me go grab a strap. We'll move this back. Went over there and grabbed my strap, put it around the fork. I wish I had another one of these on that side. We're going to run it around this fork and this fork, just so there's not all the weight on one. And then we'll put that there. You always want it to be in the throat of the hook. You don't want it to be on the end. Try to put it. It's in the throat, about as far as we'll get it. So, tighten that down just a little bit more. You guys ready? See if it'll work. Move it back, and then we'll bring the frame over. We'll drop it right in. So as you guys can see, we've got our life support hooked up. Let me move you guys over here so you can see what's going on. We got our life support hooked up. I still got to cut the line down a little bit. We got our battery to power the coil. For anybody wondering, the battery is sitting on a piece of wood. So it's not sitting on the ground. I don't want to hear anybody complain saying, your battery's sitting on the ground, you're gonna blow it up. It ain't gonna blow it up if it's sitting on the ground, and it's just gonna drain it. So let me grab my zip tie. Where do I put it down? We're gonna zip tie or at least attempt to zip tie it to that chair, so that the fuel line keeps moving. Went out and grabbed some zip ties. We're gonna zip tie the fuel tank to the chair so it fits on moving around. It won't stay up where I want it. I want it like that. We need a few zip ties to get it to hold in place. 2 or 3. Maybe 4. Maybe 5. Let me get this mount made, considering whether I want to, I need one more, considering whether I want to take and flip this around or not, this fuel tank. I would say I've got it. Holy hell. We need one more. There we go. Just go around this cushion. This is a pretty big fuel tank. A little bit bigger than what we need. For what we're doing, it'll get the job done. Since it doesn't want to cooperate with me. There we go. Want to play. Doesn't want to play nice. There we go. Now we got it. Get this crushed down like that. Together. Well, that'll hold. So then, yep. We got her all mounted. As you can see, that's on there. We're gonna have to cut the fuel line down just a shade. It's a lot too long, so ended up just going up front and scaling it off the tractor. I don't have any. I thought I had some fuel line around here, but I think I might have used all of it. Oh, how convenient. We've got a thing on there already, so I don't have to cut that down, but I still need one of my fuel suckers. There we go. This may not be big enough, but we'll find out. So let's go on ahead. There's pliers. We may end up having to move the fuel tank in a little. I like to put it up just a little bit higher so that we can, doing it this way, we'll be able to test the fuel pump and see if the fuel pump's good. We're going to need a bigger clamp. Smaller clamp, I mean, that one's too big. We're going to need I don't want to use the smallest one, but if I have to, I will. Here it is, right here. Get this pinched on that fuel line. This should hold on to it pretty tight without. Well, I guess we can let it go without one. It may or may not need one. Get this put on there. Put a little bit of a slit in it to make it go on just a bit easier. I probably screwed myself by doing that. Let's see if we can. Okay. Yeah, this fuel line is kind of old, so I don't know 100% if it's going to be able to stand up to what we're going to do with it today. Hopefully it will, but I do need to get some new fuel line. This is just good for testing purposes, and that's it. Yeah. I would say that's on there probably about as far as we'll manage to get it. Put a fuel shutoff on here just in case we need it. I don't think we'll need it, but it never hurts to have one. This is just about, this is up higher than the fuel pump. So the fuel pump, it'll gravity feed down to it. I'm gonna leave this not connected for right now and see if if this shoots fuel out, we're good. If it doesn't, the fuel pump's bad. So let me put some gas in this tank, fire it up. You guys ready? I won't put it. Should we prime it or? That should be bad enough to do what we want to do. I really just want to start it up and make sure it runs. So we're not going to hook the coil up. Let's just turn it over with the starter. Put this up here. There we go. Ready? Fire it. My bad. I never turned this back on. Whoops. I smell something. Alright, ready? I never turned the line on. Okay, as you guys can see, it is shooting out fuel, so we got a good fuel pump. Let's stick this on here. Hopefully, if I am correct, we should have a good carburetor. Let's go on ahead and hook up the ignition and see. You guys can't see it, but it was shooting off. It was shooting off gas, so that's good. Move this over here, just so we don't have any risk of doing that. Let's get our points open. So when I put this on here, it won't spark. Good. Ready. Ignition, fuel, starter. Let's see if it'll go. Carburetor is tuned right, and I do have a governor on it, same as I did before, so ready? Well, let's help it out a little bit. You know, it wouldn't hurt to check the fuel. Oil, yeah, we got oil. Let's unhook the ignition. We'll prime it. We'll dump some fuel down in the spark plug hole. because I don't think it's getting primed, and we've got a leak, so great. We know fuel's getting down to it now, so that's good. If we got a little bit of a leak, I'll probably end up putting... No. Are we leaking oil? Where's that gas coming? Oh. We got gas. I think that gas is... Oh, I see where it's coming from. This line right here is not... Okay. Well, we do have a little gas leaks, but we are fine. It's not going to hurt anything. It ain't well, so that's good. Okay. Let me grab my phone. Tasted like gas. It's just coming down from up there. Ignition is unhooked. I think it's getting spark. I hope it's getting spark. We should probably check it. That plug looks dry, so I don't think any fuel's gotten to it yet. Dump a little bit in there. There we go. If it doesn't fire over, there's either no spark or something isn't getting where it should. I want to hurry up and get this done before we leak out all our gas. That's something I would definitely not like to lose. It's dripping off the frame. That is. It's gas, it's not oil. Ready? Ignition. We may end up needing to charge this battery. May end up needing to. I don't know if we will or not. That's touching ground. That's not good. There we go. Ready? Let's see. How this thing goes. Will it fire? Throttle might need to be opened in here. Let's try it again. We got sparks, so that's good. Let's try it again. Cool. I think we might need to throttle it up just a hair. What do you guys think? Is it getting fuel, or is that just what was in the cylinder? Is that shut all the way? Yeah, we got to open our... That may be the hole. Let me do some adjusting on the carburetor, and I'll close this. Let's do some adjusting on that carb real quick. I don't think it's adjusted to where it should be. Oh no. This might be a little bit thin, but we do have a screwdriver, and I think this is in all the way. This would explain why. Yeah, it would explain our 1, half, 2, half. This one I think over here needs to be 2 1/4. Right? Yeah. This one's in all the way to 1, 2 1/4. Right. Got it all adjusted. I'm almost tempted to open the idle up just in here, but I think it should be okay where we've got it. Ready? I'm surprised it was running. Oh, man, the ignition's not hooked up. Oops, my bad. Pants. For those of you that wonder why I wear sweatpants, it's because they get caught on stuff and rip. If I was to wear jeans, they'd get caught on stuff and rip. They're more expensive, so that's why I don't wear them. That and I'd rather not ruin a good pair of jeans out here. Ready? I think it's idling too long. Yeah. What do you guys think? Should we idle it up? Just a little? Let's do that. I'd rather not do that. I would definitely rather not leave it like that, so. Let's hurry up and get this, and we'll try it again. There we go, it's idled up quite, not a lot, but about enough to figure out. I think our motor's good. We just needed to screw with the, we may end up having to adjust the points. We've had it running though. Ready? Put something in there to hold that up. Ready? Look at that! Damn choke shut again. Let me put something over there to hold that choke from shutting. That's why it died, because damn, oh no, it didn't. Why did it die? Let's try it again. Ready? This fuel pump is no good. I'm going to have to change it. It's not putting out enough fuel. That end it's leaking, so. Why isn't it firing over now? It's flooded. We'll unhook that here in a minute. One more, ready? Cool. So we know it'll run. Let me go on ahead and unhook my battery. So we know it'll, oh, I think we burned up all our fuel. Look at that. We burned up all our fuel. It's got a lot of fuel leaks, so I think that's the whole issue right there is the fuel leak, so I'm not going to put more fuel in it. I'd like to try throttling it, but with the fuel pump leaking and the other stuff I pointed out, we may not be able to do much with it. So we know it runs, it idles, it moves. Haven't tested if it drives yet. I think we should be able to go on ahead and put it in the tractor. I'm going to go on ahead and end this video here. I know it's probably getting kind of long, and I don't want to sit there and edit a very long video, so I know you guys don't want to watch a long video too. So we got the motor running in this video. I think up next what we're going to go on ahead and do is we're going to get the 68 back. For those who didn't see it, yes, it is sitting up front. The guy hasn't came out here to get it yet. He said he will come out here and get it later, so it's sitting up front right now, but until I get the chance, until he comes out here and gets it, I'm just going to leave it set up there. I don't want to mess with it right now. So, with that being said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to do besides change that fuel pump. I think that's about it. Okay, take care.